here's our next battle before moving to the tournament, and this is going to be a Black Swan. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Put in redeemed, cover my replay on a tier 1 ship. Apparently he did this on stream, and the stream said you absolutely need to do this. So that's why we're doing it. That's why we're taking a look
There's
at it.
one human player in it.
So a Black Swan is a tier 1 ship. It's one of the starter ships, and it's actually a very strong ship because it's got 6 guns as opposed to pretty much every other tier 1 ship, which has 4. It's got 4 guns in the front and 2 in the rear. Fun story about the Black Swan, she actually got nerfed several times. She originally had only AP shells in it, and she overperformed like nuts because she would sit it out the heck out of everything. So then they changed her to have HE only, and then I believe they also nerfed the rate of fire at some point. So there you go, OP ship at tier 1 if you want to go club people. Actually, a lot of people, I think it's the Orlan they club with.
Was the AP change actually a balance reason, or wasn't it just because Wargaming changed the whole tier 1 mechanic to only have AGs? To not confuse players.
No, because back then, I believe they even allowed, I think back then it was HE only and AP only, depending on the line, and then they just switched it to HE only for all of them. And then they said, okay, for the way moves, we'll go out there.
I thought the Black Swan was the only one that had AP.
AP only, yes. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at your build here. You've got main armaments modification 1 to keep your gun turrets up longer. You only have access to 1. This is a standard captain. You've got 13 points invested into this captain. Oh my goodness. Grease the gears. Demolition expert. Last stand. Adrenaline rush. Survivability expert. And then finally, heavy HE and AP. Makes perfect sense. This is a full damage build. That's all you're going for in this is just damage, damage, damage. It's fine. And then no signals.
I would like you probably need more points. I dropped the survivability expert. It's irrelevant at tier 1. I like outnumbered at tier 1. You have usually a very high up tier time on that skill at low tiers. And you can combine it with top grade gunner. Since you made your concealment, did you make his concealment worse? What's the gun caliber?
Yeah. Oh no, he didn't, because it's these are 102s. So
okay, well.
Yeah, there's no debuff to concealment there.
I thought he made it worse. I didn't remember the caliber.
Outnumbered and top grade are broken at tier 1. Good to know. Yeah. So in other words, maybe drop this, maybe drop well, you have to have 1 point, so there you go. You said drop survivability, and then maybe the first one you pick up is top grade, and the second is outnumbered. Okay. Then you can go back to your heavy HE, because that's just free damage. And then if you wanted to, you could do survivability to get to your 21 points, but it's a tier 1. Why would you invest it? Anyway, let's get to the game. As Grunty mentioned, now that's serious, right? As Grunty mentioned, there's only 1 human on each side. So it's literally who can kill the bots first. That's your captain build on all your cruisers on public test? Because it's public test, so you don't care, right? Just go in and guns blazing and shoot all the things. Pew, 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 pew. And this is on Polar. I always like Polar. We never got a name for the Salem game, but I think just shooting your way out is probably the best way to do it. Pockington's replay, I know we're on the new one, but Pockington's reminds me a lot of Kill Bill, when Uma Thurman's character is buried and she has to like fist pump her way out. You know, like you finally have 21 point Montana captain. Congratulations, Seabear. Now I say it's an okay ship. Now it's given wild mood swings. Okay. So games like this, most people will just go straight in. It's a generally good idea to find an island to block shells that come in from different angles. So this island that Putin is heading to is fantastic for preventing enemies from hitting him from whichever side he chooses to play opposite of. So he's going to the right, so it'll keep things from the center from being able to shoot him if he wants to play at the island. Looks to me like he's going to just keep going forward and move to the more middle island. To me, that's a little bit risky early on. But as long as he's behind somebody else, he probably won't get shot at. Cthulhu, apparently Putin was streaming this game. So that adds even more to questions. Also, I feel like you're looking around a little bit too much. You can probably use to just focus a target and keep guns going on it. Also, aim better. You only hit once now so far. I would shoot the Eritrea there. The Eritrea is coming out broadside to you, so more surface area of ship to be able to shoot. Don't know why you're ignoring the Eritrea, but whatever. If you're gonna kite away right now, you'll note that you can only... Okay, you had to turn your ship again to be able to put the rear. There's plenty of other choices for you to shoot that would allow you to kite away and still kite away while you're shooting all your guns. Remember the good old days of AP Black Swan? Yeah, we were talking about that. Still don't get why you're shooting the Hremlin at max range. Putin's decided to flip his guns. Oh, because it's the other human. That's why he's shooting it. That's why he's shooting it. He's trying to assert his dominance over the only other human player in the game. But
that actually makes perfect sense, to be honest.
It cost you a lot of hit points, though, because you've completely ignored stuff that was closer to you. DCP, you're on 2 fires. There you go. And that Hremlin is now trying to assert dominance back on you. I have no idea what this song is, Cthulhu. Alright, now you got an enemy ship that's in the cap. Now, when I play against a single human, I actually focus on the bots first. Kill all the bots first. Get the decaps. There you go. Kill all the bots first. Because you take those guns out of the game. And meanwhile, if you're killing the bots first, then your bots are actually surviving longer. Which, kind of, if you think about it, frees up your bots to go shoot the other human player. And Putin is kind of finding this out the hard way here. I like how you see there's a Jupiter there, and you're like, nah, I don't care. I'm just going to keep sailing straight at it. Surprised you didn't get the kill, but okay. Man, your focus fire is just really off. And you're losing a lot of potential fire opportunities, shooting opportunities, just because you're tunnel visioning on individual ships. You're down a ship compared to the enemy team. So at the lower tiers, there's a lot of good opportunities to learn hiding away from targets, but also because it's usually a target-rich environment, you've got a lot of opportunities to fire your guns while you're kiting away. There you go. Good. 30-minute warning for the Enterprise tournament. Now this I like. You're changing your throttle a bit, you're changing your angle a little bit, and that throws off the AI. Throws off any player, frankly. And now Puddin is turning into try-hard mode. And this is what's so nice about the Black Swan. Most of these other ships have to show broadside to get all their guns off, or to get 4 guns off. You only have to bow into them to get 4 of your guns off. Your very first Kraken was on your 3rd day of playing warships. Wow! Only later did I realize that all other 23 ships were protected matchmaking bots. But does that matter? I mean, you still got the achievement, right?
All the other 23? Not even a human player on the enemy team?
Yeah, in a
I
protected
didn't know that would.
matchmaking. Mm-hmm. That's
I
typical.
thought you had at least one player on the enemy team as well.
Still down a ship. Now here you can see Puddin going for the unsaturated parts of the ship, which is smart. When you start shooting the same part of the ship, it becomes saturated, which means your shells will do less damage to it over time. So you're far better off focusing instead on parts of the ship that are essentially clean and unhit.
Outnumbered would still be active, by the way. I've been watching the minimap for that for the last 3-4 minutes.
And top grade would be an absolute buff
Yeah,
to
Telgrave would be
you know.
like active pretty much the whole game.
And see, here's another example. Puddin wants to shoot this ship, but he also realizes the importance of kiting away here. So he's changing targets to something he can kite away and shoot. That's smart. That's what I was talking about earlier in this replay. It was another year before you got a proper Kraken. And that was in the
no
Monarch.
idea about my first Kraken anymore. Do you?
No. I remember I used to get it. I used to get a Kraken almost every day though, because I would play the Emden, Tier 2 German. I think it's the Emden.
The premium one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like every day just go out and play it, and I'd almost always get a Kraken in it because I'm in with bots and everything else and just beating up on things.
I don't even remember my first solo warrior.
My first solo warrior came. My second came like right after my first. It was pretty crazy.
Like I remember my solo warrior games, but I don't remember which was the first.
I don't remember my first, but I remember my second because I got it in a Strike Lexington. Alright, so that Hremlin that you were trying to assert dominance on has asserted dominance over all of your bots, and you're slowing down because you want him to go after the Chang'an, which is smart. But you don't find him. Instead, you find a near full health bot Hremlin. Oh, there's Eritrea. And now you can see the target prioritization, focusing on getting guns out, even if they are at long range. Good kill. And now absolutely focus on the Hremlin. I like the dodgy. Now you turning this way is going to help the enemy human continue to shoot you. See how he's sitting behind the island now shooting at you for free? This guy knows his stuff. This is one of those professional like seal clubbers that you're probably up against.
I didn't even know the Hamlet had the range to still shoot here.
Serving your hit points is smart.
Problem solved, sir.
And yes, there are people who have thousands of games in single tier 1 ships. Let that sink in for a minute. Good song choice for right now, by the way. Alright, so Puddin's gonna clean this game up. Boarding actions? Oh god. Please no.
Oh.
Oh, so what I miss?
Your game.
Oh, good, because I lived it.
You did. Actually, there was a lot of things I commented on.
I wouldn't doubt it.
You finally asserted dominance on the only other human player. Good job.
Playing with my food? Question mark.
Well, you were kind of forced to disengage. But anyway, so you got yourself a Kraken, you got yourself High Caliber and Confederate. And, well, let's take a look. Oh, look, you did a lot of good things.
No solo warrior, bad game.
I have to agree with Grunty, and this is now officially my highest kill count game.
Seriously,
I mean,
a
you
10?
killed-
Okay.
You killed bots. Congratulations.
That's
Nine of
exactly how I feel.
But you know what? The game still counts it as a random battle.
Yes.
Let that
Yes,
sink
but
in
it
for a
also
minute.
tells you that the 10 kills were done in a tier 1 ship, so...
Yes.
So the main comments I had put in was it felt like you wasted a lot of firing opportunities because you were hyper focused on trying to shoot one thing, but you also missed some good opportunities. Like at the start in Eritrea pulling out broadside, you instead chose to focus on something that was bow into you.
Are you talking about the human player?
No, that was later, the Gremlin. But in the early initial engagement, you were shooting at a bow in bot, and there was a side broadside Eritrea bot that you could have shot and didn't. And then you got
Imagine if I had AP the care.
right, and then you had the engagement with the human that, frankly, you probably would have been better off just ignoring that human and focusing on the other stuff. What the heck? And logged
Well,
out by this. Oh, Jesus.
You got to remember though, at this, if you kill the player, it's pretty much a guaranteed win.
Right. I understand that. But you have two choices. You can do that, or you can focus on getting the bots down first. I gotta find my press account credentials. This is gonna be fun.
Did you actually look it up, Putin? Was that other tier 1 player a tier 1 seal clubber, or was it a regular player?
He was a professional tier 1 player.
Yeah,
Of course he
that's
was.
that's what I called it out. I said I think he is professional tier 1. So yeah, not surprised.
It's
noticed-
it's
Here's the thing that I've noticed. It used to be the Black Swan. Now it's the German, and it's probably due to range.
Range and the quarter
I was
HE
commenting
pen.
on that. Like, I was surprised he could shoot you there in the end of that range.
Mm-hmm. So you can rent
It's
to
actually like for usually good players that play high tiers,
Mhm.
going back to low tiers is often a challenge.
It is.
Because all your good tactics with the angling and stuff like this,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter at the low tiers. And these guys with thousands of tier 1 battles, they know that meta and how the bots play and where they get stuck and stuff like this to the T. You usually get beaten if you go down there to tier 1,
Yep.
even as a unicum player.
So what are we gonna title this one, y'all?
Clubbing the clubber.
Okay.
I mean, like, my honest opinion is, I'm glad Wargaming has it to where new players will never see an individual like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I agree.
Until they go to do a new line and have over the 500 battles. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't see the enjoyment of tier 1. Like, I got trolled by Full Metal to do this, and I forgot to troll back to immediately go into co-op. So I sat here for 5 minutes in queue for this.
Jeez.
Like, I could understand it just playing the low tiers against the low tiers. If it was a full human battle and you get the excitement of these pure engagements without gimmicks and stuff like this. But now with the matchmaking changes, where like 90% of the players are bots, I don't understand it anymore. Like, you might as well play co-op at this point.
You know, the
All
one
right.
thing I pointed, the one thing I did point out for this real quick was, everyone wants skill-based matchmaking. Go play a tier 1 game and see how before you get pissed off sitting in queue waiting for